you're very like
memory lane.
Journalist
Yeah, really?
area. Yeah. I was like, whoa. Hey everybody, welcome to Bird's Eye View. Today's guest is one of the most versatile players in the game and an absolute two-way threat. She is a former UConn standout. She helped lead the Huskies to 2 national championships before being drafted 4th overall in the 2018 WNBA draft. Since then, she has built a reputation as an elite defender, a player who thrives in any role her team needs, and this season with the Seattle Storm, she's having an amazing year, averaging 11.5 points, 4.3 rebounds, 4.2 assists per game. But it's truly her defense that sets her apart. She's currently leading the WNBA in steals, averaging 2.3 a game with a league-high 99 total steals. She has really embraced her dual identity. She's American, she's French, she stars for the French national team. Her impact is global. I am talking about none other than Gabby Williams. And by the way, we did do this interview before All-Star, so a lot has happened since then. Before we get into the interview though, you know what time it is? It's time for Sue's View. We've got another special Sue's View. Tommy is back with us, and we're gonna preview the playoffs. The seedings are finally set. I don't think it's ever gone down to the last day like this for what felt like I think it was like every spot except for 2 were set.
A lot of drama the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. We're taping this Friday, the 12th. Game start the 14th. So it'd be fun to just kind of run through each of the series. Get some of your X factors, thing to watch, everything like that. Let's start with the only one we knew that was set earlier in the week, which was Phoenix Liberty. Phoenix is 2-1 in the season series. My first question for you on this is, how do you see the Liberty approaching the AT matchup, knowing what you know about how she's played this year?
Yeah, AT is somebody that I think is really going to expose you if you don't have a chance to game plan for her, because she does so much. It's really hard in the course of the regular season when you're only playing Phoenix every now and then to have like a full-on game plan. So I would imagine the Liberty are going to have something. I mean, I think the one thing that jumps out, it's actually not just about AT, but really about their whole team. They thrive when they're able to run. They thrive. And I think, you mentioned the season series. One stat that jumped out just when I took like a quick look before we recorded, Phoenix has caused, I think it's like 17 and a half turnovers in their series with New York. So they've turned New York over a lot. I think the Liberty really have to focus on that, because you can't let Phoenix get out in transition. That's where AT thrives. That's where Sammy thrives. Like that's where they get I think they get their juice from that. So it's definitely something I have my eye on.
Well, it's funny because we talked about this last week about just the obvious issue the Liberty have had is just getting everybody on the court at the same time and just getting their reps of having that. In theory, that's going to be the case starting this weekend. But even in the game they won, Sabrina had 29, Stewie didn't play. Do you think that those two things go hand in hand in terms of when they're trying to speed you up and kind of get you out of sync and you don't necessarily feel comfortable because you haven't played with the same group all year?
I actually think for the Liberty, it's going to have to be by committee. I don't think that they can have, like you're mentioning Sabrina playing well in their win, having 29 points. Obviously Stewie being injured for different games. I think JJ only played 2 of the 3 games. So I feel like all of that has to go out the window for the Liberty, and no one player can have too much pressure on themselves. No one player is going to win them that game. They're just not, that's not where any of them are individually. I don't think that's where they are as a team. They have to be like by committee. If you look up that box score at the end of a game and you see the Liberty have like 4, 5, 6 players in like low double figures, that's like a great night. And a win, that's a great night for them. Now if somebody breaks out, you take it. But I think that's probably how the Liberty have to approach it.
Do you look at Monique as an X factor for Phoenix?
Yeah. She's been their X factor pretty much the whole season, in a sense. I think she's a big reason why they've had success all along, but a really big reason why they had success early. I don't think anybody really knew who she was, didn't understand her game that well. That always happens when you have a newcomer who can kind of sneak up on you in a league where everybody generally knows each other really well. If you're this like unknown, you can really have impact early, and I think that's what got the Mercury off to such a great start, especially because they had a lot of injuries
Yeah.
early, a lot of people in and out.
So my follow up to that, because I assume the answer is going to be yes, was the rookie adjustment, which you've seen yourself, and then you've seen with just teammates and opponents and everything like that. At that
Mhm.
position in particular, heading into the stakes are just different. You're going to know, we talk about it all the time, but it's just playoff basketball is just different. And so, like, if you're talking to her right now, what's your advice in terms of managing that?
Man, I think I've kind of touched on it already, which is in regards to AT, which is when you get to the playoffs, yes, playoffs are different. They're more physical. Every possession, quite literally at times, can feel like the last. Like that's how intense the intensity is going to turn up. So I'd talk about that. You would reference that the difference there. But the real difference is you are going to be game planned for. This isn't just like a Tuesday where maybe the other team is coming off, another road game and they just got there Monday night and they had one shoot around, one film session. And yeah, they have a game plan, but who knows how much. This is like you will be game planned for.
Yeah. You're not
Everything you
sneaking
do
up.
will be picked. No. Everything you do will be picked apart. Everything your team does will be picked apart. Things will be taken away. And I think that is where the mental aspect of all of it really kicks in. So I guess the advice I would give to a newcomer to all of this is just you have to have an open mind. It is not going to go the way if it goes the way you planned it, great. Like pat on your back, good job, move on to the next. It's probably not. You probably are going to have to do something you didn't expect
Yeah.
having to do.
Moving on to uh, the next series we want to hit. Speaking of newcomers, Golden State, Minnesota. Objectively incredible, annual season for these guys, and their
Yes.
reward is playing a 34-10 team. Minnesota's first in offensive rating, defensive rating, net rating, 3-0 in the season series. I guess my starting question on the series is, what do the Valkyries do to give themselves a chance?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. They're going up against Goliath. And, I think more than anything, when you look at Golden State, and you already said it, amazing season, so much to be proud of. I know that in their minds, they're not going to approach this series being, just happy to be there. So I'm really curious on what their coaching staff, what Natalie's going to have cooked up. Cause I think this is the type of series, if I'm Golden State, I'm like, what kind of weird shit can I do? I'm not even joking. Like, am I doing a box and one? Am I playing zone? Am I pressing? Like, what do I have up my sleeve to just change things up? Because I think the reality is, Golden State's pretty good defensively. I think they're like fourth in net rating defensively, but
They're
their
third now.
offense.
I looked this up today. They just moved up to third this week.
Oh, they moved to the third. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're third in offensive rating. I'm sorry, they're third in
It-
defensive rating,
yeah.
but can they score enough to beat a team that you just said, who's like basically number one across the board in everything? I just don't know. So I think you have to try to make the game weird, make the game as ugly and weird, within reason, obviously, but just try to change it up. Try to make Minnesota, have to think about it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fun thing on a macro level. If you're watching this thing of, it's what sports fans love. It's David versus Goliath, like you mentioned, and it starts to become a thing where when you have no expectations and you're playing with house money, if you can do that and you can start throwing them off, then
Mhm.
all of a sudden it's like they're fighting against themselves as much as they are you. And you start to just be like, you don't have any, there's no, you already have won by getting to this position. So
Yeah.
so there doesn't have to be a sense of like, oh, okay, it's almost like less about the matchups and the rest of these series. And it's more just like whatever we can do to kind of muck it up, is gonna, hopefully just throw them off their own game.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing that Golden State has certainly proven is they know how to do that. Not necessarily the muck it up part, but they know how to beat top teams in the league. They
Yeah.
know how when they're overlooked, which, by the way, I don't think the Minnesota Lynx are gonna overlook anybody. They've been waiting to get back to the playoffs for literally a year, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but Golden State has shown. They've shown that they can play with any team in this league. Obviously, a series is a whole different ballgame. So we'll see what they got.
Before we move on to Atlanta, Indy, we should just acknowledge Fee is the first player in WNBA history to average 20 points a game at a 50, 40, 90 clip. Shout out to her. It's pretty crazy. Mel and I were talking about this before we started taping. Does a stat like that, and we've talked about the MVP last week. We have a lot to get to, so we don't have to go into a big thing on it. But does a crazy stat like that affect your specific view on a thing like this, or is that just one data point in a series of many?
I think it's one data point, a series of many, but I think it's a pretty important data point. I think has a lot of weight to it. I don't think it's just like your run of the mill data point.
Yeah.
50, 40, 90 is insane. I mean, you already said it. Second player ever to do it. Last one to do it was Elena Deladon. But do you want to hear the crazy part? And this isn't me, making a case. I actually think when it comes to MVP, this is what it's going to come down to. Before I get to my crazy stat, this is what it's going to come down to. The voters are either going to think missing 2 games was too much, or they're going to think Asia's crazy run where she's in the last, don't quote me, but 15 or 16 games, averaging 27. I mean, her numbers are insane in this last part of the season. So some voters are going to think 10 games is too much to miss. Other voters are going to think Asia's run was too impressive not to pick, and vice versa. Right. And that's really what it's going to come down to, because there's a lot of other things that just kind of equal themselves out. Of course, there's also the head-to-head matchup, which Asia won, her team won. That plays a role as well. But the crazy thing that I was just curious about when I was looking at Asia's numbers, Asia's basically Asia had a 50, 40, 85 season.
She was right.
Now, don't get me wrong. The delta between 85 and 90 is like not a lot, but also it's a lot. Like 5% free throw when you shoot that many, it's quite a bit. So it's not like she was right there, but she's kind of right there.
Yeah, she is kind of. I mean, the first 2 I think are the ones that matter a little more, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been wild if they had both gotten it.
Oh my God, that would have been crazy. But Nafisa, you know what? Ryan, I was actually talking to Ryan Rucco. I'm in Tokyo, by the way, for everyone listening. Therefore, what's today? What time is it?
Sue doesn't even know what time it is. Where she
I'm going to get off this little riverside we're doing, and go to bed. That's what kind of time I'm on. But I was talking to Ryan, and he made this point where Nafisa plays in her last game. She has to make 2 3-pointers to get to 50, 40, 90. So the 40 was in question. She had to make 2, and she does. And Ryan was like, and then she shot 2 more. And he was like, I have so much respect for that. And I was like, so do I. Because this is a game that's meaningless. Like, the winner or the loss has literally no meaning. And she's already got the 50, 40, 90. And she shoots 2 more threes. I was like, respect. Because that just shows, though.
It's not padding.
To finish the conversation around the Minnesota Golden State series, I think that right there tells you exactly where they are. This is like eye on the prize. They don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, I would say, for everybody else. Fever Atlanta feels a little under the radar, I would say. Obviously, Caitlin's not playing. Atlanta, so much props to them. We obviously just did the episode with Ryan a couple weeks ago. Just been sort of consistently really good all year. Season series is 2-2. What do you sort of expect to see Sunday to start it off?
This series is interesting because it's 2 teams that, well, first of all, they met really early in the season, right?
Yeah, I think they played like 3 times in the first 6 weeks or something. It was like they played twice right away. Yeah,
so they met really early. And I guess, okay, actually, the reason why this series is interesting is because these 2 teams haven't played each other. These 2 teams haven't really played each other. Obviously, Indiana is the team that's been hit the absolute most by injury. So they feel totally different, but they've kind of found themselves a little bit. Then you have Atlanta. They've had the injury bug a little bit too. Not as much as Indiana, but you have a player like Jordan Canada, who's been out for a decent chunk of time and is now just back in the lineup. So it's not, you're not going to really base it off anything from the regular season. I think Atlanta, this is their series to lose and or to win. I think their guards are playing really well. Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, they've got size. But I don't know. Then to me, the Fever, what they're bringing is just like a grit. They're just gritty about it. They find ways to win. They find ways to stay in games. I don't know. It might come down to, can Aaliyah Boston kind of have an impact, not just in the paint, but the way she play makes against Atlanta's bigs.
The Fever also have a little bit of that Golden State thing now where it's like no one expects anything of them. So
Yeah.
the pressure is all off. And
Yeah.
and they got a lot of talent. So like when you have that, if you've that combination is not a fun team to play against, where you have
and Kelsey Mitchell. You have
Yeah.
a player like Kelsey Mitchell who can easily get 30, can just go off for 30. I mean, I think zoomed out this whole playoffs, when I was looking at the whole thing, it was just like, this might be the first time in WNBA history where, given how all the seedings finished, with the exception of Minnesota, they're a little bit of an outlier. It's like, does anyone really have an advantage over anyone? The game, like the amount of games that were different between, the number 2 team and the number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on is like minimal at best.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of right there. So I don't know. Do upsets happen? Maybe. I was even thinking of back to New York Phoenix for a second. New York, the defending champion, will have to win a game on the road in the first round in order to move on. That's crazy to think about.
Crazy.
So
we should shout out.
Start.
Yeah, before we go to the last series, Alicia Gray, first guard in W history to win Player of the Month 3 times in a single season. I was surprised by that.
Really? How come?
Good for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
just that it's never happened before, or
just that it's never happened. I just figured that would. But shout out to her, great year. Last one I'm probably the most excited for. You may be as well, although it's complicated for you. Aces Storm. Aces 16 in a row coming in, second longest winning streak in W history. Have you ever seen anything like this going into the playoffs?
No. Nope.
So, okay. So do that 2-1 season series Aces. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of personal things in the series on both sides. What do you think, just in general, knowing how hot they are, how hot Asia is, how locked in they are as a team, but then the Storm we're going to throw to an episode with Gabby Williams in a minute. Like the Storm are loaded themselves, and they're just another one where it's not a team that anybody wanted to really run into in September if they could help it. Where are you with this? Like, what do you expect in game 1, I guess?
This I think has to be the series that everyone has circled. I mean, I already said it, right? It's like they've split in the regular season. Jewel Lloyd was a Seattle Storm member. She's now, she was traded to the Aces. That's a storyline. You've got the Aces on their incredible win streak. That's a storyline. Is Asia going to be MVP? That's a storyline. For the Storm, it's more of like a who's going to show up. It's a little bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You haven't really been able to pin them down, but that's scary. I think that's scary, especially given they have had success against the Aces.
Yeah.
The times that they've played well, honestly, this isn't specific to Las Vegas. The Seattle Storm play well when they shoot well. Nneka, Skylar, Erica Wheeler, particularly those 3, when they shoot well from the outside, and Gabby, now and Brittany Sykes. So the starting 5, when the top 6 players shoot well, they win games. It's like that simple. So can they find ways to create shots? That's really been kind of like the issue there. But I don't know. There's this weird thing I have happening in the back of my head, and this isn't, Do I want the Seattle Storm to win? I'm going to want them to win for the rest of my life. This is no surprise to anybody. This has nothing to do with that. I'm just like, at some point, the Aces are going to lose.
This is my feeling. It's just a number.
Yeah,
it's an odds thing. They're not going to win 22 games in a row. Like, they're going to lose.
Right. It's like, especially in the playoffs, like at some point in the regular season, had this streak happened early in the season, at some point they would lose, right? Like, this just feels like the law of numbers in a sense, law of averages.
Yeah.
If they lose in this first series, if that streak breaks like immediately against the Storm and the Storm start getting confidence, now it's like, whoa, like, that's kind of scary, I think, if you're the Aces taking, actually, I'm thinking if I'm a player and I've had this incredible win streak, am I nervous that law of numbers is going to catch up? Or am I like, no, there's a reason we won all those games and I'm feeling confident? Wow,
yeah,
I don't know.
That makes total sense. The flip side of it would be if you were to, and this was obviously getting decided last night, what these matchups were going to be. There's a part of me, and you know this better than I, but there's a part of me of like, if this was like Aces Golden State first round, Aces Indy first round, whatever it is, you're like, okay, I could see there being, like Aces are going to be locked in. It's sort of like you were saying about Minnesota. The Aces are like, this is the team that they probably wanted on a individual level and on a personal level. And so it doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad shooting night or something isn't going to go wrong or whatever it is. That's just basketball. Like, it is what it is. But at the same point, I think you kind of worry about that a little bit more when there's it's like a trap game, when there's a letdown of like, okay, we did this and then maybe we, took our foot off the gas a little bit. I think this is one where it's like they got their emotional matchup right away. And so that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just makes it more interesting in a way because it's kind of like, if it happens, it's not going to be because they're not focused.
I think what I'm thinking is more, how long can a streak really go in the WNBA? I guess we'll find out. I mean, honestly, watch them go like run.
Yeah.
Watch them run.
Yeah.
As long as 18, yeah. Watch them run through the playoffs undefeated, and this gets played over and over and over again. But assuming the streak does get broken, I'm just like, if it's bound to get broken and it happens, and they happen to run up to a Seattle Storm team where their Dr. Jekyll is there to play and not their Mr. Hyde. Now it's just like, oh, fuck. Because now a team has stolen one from you and now it's going to go to game 3. And I feel like game 3s, anything can happen. That would be like my fear if I'm the Aces. That'd be like what I'd be, if I'm Becky Hammon, that's what I'm like worried about when I go to bed at night. But at the same time, there's a reason they've won all these games. They've found something. They've found something, I think, collectively as a team. And let's be honest, they're a classic case. They are a classic case of stop judging new teams in the first 5 minutes of their season. Can we all just stop doing that? It takes time. And stop comparing them to previous teams.
You're right, but it's not going to stop.
I know, but it's just...
It's a good example. You could just be like, this is now your callback. Because next year there'll be another team that this happens with, where there's big player movement and and maybe they're not going to go on a 16-game winning streak to end the year, but like, just be like, give them till August to know. Like, if after the first year, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can make that calculation. But anything else? This is going to be a good weekend. This is a good grouping.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for the playoffs to start. I'm going to be looking for a lot. I'm going to look for a lot of different things. I think this is when players have a chance. Players have a chance to like have big moments. That's what's so much fun about the playoffs. And honestly, I don't see why Gabby Williams can't be one of those players. So without further ado, here's Gabby. Oh man, I hope I don't mess this first part up.
Uh-oh.
Ça va?
Oh, ça va et toi?
Bien.
Ok.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Gabby, et toi?
Je m'appelle Sue Oiseau.
Oiseau, ok. Pourquoi Oiseau?
It's my last name.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
all right, well,
you
understood that.
Yeah, I know pourquoi. And I have it tatted on my leg, so I never forget.
I think that's the greatest tattoo ever made, but I'm not biased or anything, but...
I couldn't agree more.
I'm surprised you didn't get it covered.
Stop it. I'll never get it covered. I'm
Okay.
actually kind of trying to build some stuff out though. I'm working on like a thing here.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. But I got a little horse.
Oh,
now.
that's cute. When did you get that?
Just like a couple weeks ago.
Are you getting addicted now?
So the Wazo tattoo,
Yeah.
which we can cut to a video if we'd like. Gabby with her Amazon purchased tattoo gun
Yep.
gave me my first ever tattoo, which was like a season-long buildup. I was
Yeah.
trying to think of what I wanted. I couldn't land on anything. I wanted to get a 10,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be in French. And then when I looked it up, how is that spelled?
Right? I was like,
DIX.
you don't want that one?
I was like, I can't get DIX on my leg. That'll be a problem. So then I finally landed on Oiseau,
Yeah.
which means bird in French. And yeah, so Gabby blessed me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was my birthday too.
Oh, it was?
I think it was my birthday because I remember I was in the middle of doing the tattoo in
Wait, what's your
January,
birthday?
September 9th.
Yeah, it's possible. It was at the end of the season.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I would never cover this up.
Okay, good.
Because of the story.
Yeah.
Like, what a great story.
It is a great story.
You gave me my first tattoo, and have I gotten the itch? I'm not addicted, but I totally get how once you get one, it's just like, well, why not get 30? Like, I totally get that.
Especially when you get one, like, stupid one.
Yeah.
You're like, all right,
I need
now
a real one.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thank you for that. Are
Of
you still
course.
doing it?
No, not really. It's not something I do. Like, I have the machine and like, it's usually something like at the end of the season. Like, it's a good wrap-up party
bring it
kind of
out.
thing now.
Yeah.
But it's not. We made a joke that we should maybe make me a portfolio of like all my crappy tattoos. And like, some people ask me, I can show them. Are you sure? But
Yeah. Were you like an artist or something growing up? Or it's just like literally something you're messing around with?
I literally just got bored during COVID and like all the tattoo shops were closed. And I
Okay.
was like, I want to put a Pac-Man on my leg or I don't know. So then Amazon.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. All right. So let's get into like your career a little bit. We're going to take it back to the early days. And the reason why is because you grew up in Sparks, Nevada. First of all, where is that?
Who knows? I always forget. No, it's like right by Tahoe, like next to California, a couple hours from Redding.
Okay.
Which we know and love, Redding.
Yes, we know and love Redding. Okay, I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah.
No, I'm all jokes aside. I think your background, like your heritage, is really interesting. Obviously, growing up in Nevada, but you do have your mom's side is French.
Mm-hmm.
So just explain to a lot of people, because actually, as I was prepping for this, Megan was like, "Oh, like what are you going to ask?" I was like, "Oh, I think I'm going to have her." I was actually toying, like, "Oh, should I have Gabby like break down her heritage?"
Mm-hmm.
And Megan was like, "Well, what is it?" She didn't even know.
Right.
She didn't even know like the full story. So here it is.
Yeah.
You can set the record straight for the people.
I know, yeah, a lot of people think I'm born in France or
Right.
like whatever, but no, I mean, I'm born and raised in the States. My mom's mom is from Paris and married my grandpa who's American. And they met like in Germany during a war or something. And where he's from was like they moved to like the tiniest town in Nevada. It's called Winnemucca. Shout out to Winnemucca if anyone, all 300 of you. But they, I always say to my grandma, like, how did you go from Paris, France to like Winnemucca,
yeah.
Nevada? But
I would love to hear a French person say Winnemucca, to be honest.
I don't, honestly, I don't
Winnemucca?
think they, right? Winnemucca? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then my grandma, they moved to Reno eventually, or Sparks. Actually, no, they didn't. My mom grew up in Winnemucca, and then my mom ended up going to school.
Okay.
And that's how she met my dad, who's 100% American. But the Frenchness comes more from like, I lived pretty much with my grandma. When I was younger, I spent like every day there. She started teaching me French from the time I was 6 or 7. And like all my middle school, high school years, I was pretty much just living with my grandma. So that's actually, I'm the only one of my siblings who like speaks French.
Did that. Oh, you're the only one that speaks French.
They can understand it, but.
Do any of them have any like citizenship, passport?
No.
Or it's just you?
It's just me. I mean, I think they can get it whenever they want. They just have to go make the appointment.
And I think I know the answer to this, but growing up, did sports just come naturally to you?
I didn't have a choice. My dad was a coach and he was like, this is what you're doing. Like,
Did he put you in basketball?
Yeah.
Okay. And then who put you in track?
Myself. And that was controversial.
Do tell.
That was controversial because they were like, no, she's not playing basketball. She was supposed to be like our basketball kid because I fell in love with track.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think everyone in my family got nervous that I wasn't going to be a basketball player.
Okay.
But then I got really good at track. So they were like, oh, this is really cool. Actually, you can do this. And then I got hurt and had to just do one sport.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get to your injury and just kind of the choice between track and basketball. But I don't think there's another thing. I think some understand, but I don't think people really understand just how good you were in high school and track. just to give like a quick, your freshman and sophomore year, you were Gatorade, like Nevada Gatorade Girls Athlete of the Year in track, which means all high schools in Nevada, all ages. You're a freshman and a sophomore. Your events were like the 100, the 300-meter hurdles, the 4x4. I did my research, but of course, the high jump.
Yeah.
And when you're 15, this part cracked me up, by the way. So when you're 15, you go through like all the qualifiers for the Olympics.
Yeah.
You finish 5th. So you're an alternate for the 2012 London Olympics.
Yeah.
As a 15-year-old. But you couldn't, but you were too young to qualify for the junior Olympic team.
Yeah.
Like,
whoa, that's a crazy
that?
fact that you found.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's on your Wikipedia.
That's true.
But
Oh.
I had my researchers.
This is like Nardwuar. Like.
No, but like how that's, first of all, that's just interesting.
Yeah.
But like you were legit. Like this was like, track was your potentially like a path.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it was weird because I actually didn't like qualify because of my age for a lot of major track events. But the Olympics was the only major track event I could do. Like I couldn't do Pan Am Games, like none of that. It was actually really weird.
What do you remember about getting to that qualifier? And then even the day up, because you PR'd that day.
I did PR that day. And you know, the lingo and everything.
I ran track a little bit.
I know, yeah, I remember. It was actually a little bit by accident. So ironically, my dad, who did not want me to do track, I found out that he was like a 7-foot high jumper in high school too. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, makes sense.
We were watching TV with my mom. Like we were at a hotel and we put on like some Big Ten like track championship. And the winner had jumped 6 foot, like the winner of like the Big Ten, whatever. And that was a weekend after I had just jumped like 6'1.5". And my mom was like, wait a minute. Like, I think you're a lot better than like a high school level. And so then I asked my coaches, I was like, what can I actually compete in? Like, I know I'm in high school. And they're like, oh my gosh, you know, you're actually qualified. You can go to the trials if you want to go to the trials. Like,
you didn't even know.
We had no idea. I mean, we were just out of Reed High School in like Sparks, Nevada. We weren't even thinking about this. And then, we did all the, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you had to do. Paperwork.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're like, she can come.
Were you like nervous, intimidated as a 15-year-old?
As hell. Yeah. But I was also just soaking in the moment because I was like such a fangirl of like all the high jumpers that were there. And I was just like, okay, I'm just like happy to be here and see all these people who I've been watching from YouTube. Like I was learning from them because, you know, I didn't have that many resources. So I was just learning from them on YouTube and then I got to compete with them and they were super happy for me too. Like, yeah, it was a really cool experience.
That was a really cool experience. So you already brought up your injury, which is that you tore your ACL your junior year. Which came first, the injury or the decision to go with basketball?
The injury.
Okay. So talk me through that.
So I had talked to every like college and I said, I'm only coming if you let me do track and basketball. And everyone except for, I think Oregon accepted because Oregon's like huge on track. So like, if you're coming, you're only doing track. But even like UConn was okay with it and everything. And the day I tore my ACL, Shay Ralph had come watch me play literally the day before.
Really?
Yeah. And then the next morning I tore my ACL, which was insane. But that was the first time like they ever saw me play in person. So I was like, oh my gosh, thankfully that I waited a day. I don't know, or else this could have been a whole different trajectory.
No, it wouldn't have been.
And I was like, okay, I did it for the first time and UConn was still like, okay, you'll come back. You're young. You still have one more year of high school. And I was like, okay, I still want to do track though. Like I didn't have a track meet since the Olympic trials.
Wow.
That was like my last.
Even to this day?
To this day, that was my last track meet ever.
Wow, what a way to go out though.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, what could have been, but
yeah.
What a way to go out.
And so I was like, I still want to do track. Like I have one more year. Let me at least do it for my senior year and we'll talk about like the track basketball thing. But they were still open to it. And then literally retore my ACL and had to miss track season again. And I had just been like, 2 years without track, trying to rehab my knee. UConn's waiting for me. Like, thankfully, I was like, I'm just going to go to UConn. I went early and did both summer sessions, did my rehab. And
do you ever miss track?
I missed it a lot in college. I don't miss it anymore.
Okay.
But I did miss it a lot in college, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think like the training that you had to endure with track helped you in basketball? Or 100%. Even vice versa? In what ways?
And yeah, definitely vice versa. But I think the fact that I'm always on my toes.
Yeah.
The way I'm always
you
so
are a
bouncy.
tippy-toer.
Yeah. I am naturally like that, but a lot of it comes from the way I trained with track.
Okay.
For sure. Like I learned how to be explosive and be bouncy and be quick and yeah.
No, that totally makes sense. Okay. So at this point, it's kind of crazy because even though you're choosing basketball, you're obviously going to Connecticut. I'm going to ask you about the recruitment process in a second. You've already knocked on the door of the Olympics with obviously US track. And so I'm curious, there's a little bit of foreshadowing here maybe, but does the thought of basketball and the path and France and being French, and is that even in like your orbit at that point? Or does that just come later?
No, I mean, it's in my fantasy kind of thing. Like, wow, I don't know. When I would picture myself playing for a national team, I would always picture myself like playing for France.
Oh, really?
And I'd even done like Team USA camps, but I was just like, oh, that'd be so cool if I could play for France one day, not really realizing that it was possible that I was a French citizen this whole time.
Yeah, you put it in the universe. I love that.
And then, once we started talking about overseas stuff with like Lindsay, she was like, oh, well, if your grandma's French, you probably have French like citizenship and everything. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, like let's reach out to the French national team and everything. And we found out that I was born, like I had my birth certificate already and everything. So there wasn't any kind of naturalization that needed to happen. And that's how we got in touch.
Yeah, like what year was that?
That was my senior year of college.
Oh, okay.
My senior year of college was the first time I reached out to them. But then
were they like, yes, come like welcome? Or were they like, who's this chick?
They're kind of like, who's this chick a little bit. Yeah. They were like, who's this chick? And I was like, well, I'm just throwing my name out there and whenever you guys are ready. And then also there was a conflict with Bria too. Like me and Bria couldn't play on the team together. So I had to wait. And yeah.
And that's because, wait, but you're not naturalized.
It's according to FIBA, but like in the real world, I'm not like naturalized.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yes. So in the world of basketball, you can't have two naturalized, meaning people that aren't born, for lack of a better.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like you have to have your passport before the age of 16, which I didn't have.
Okay.
So
perfect. Yeah. Wow. That's like even that at the young age, that was your dream.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Okay. So you obviously choose Connecticut. What other schools were you looking at?
I was looking at Louisville a lot. I was looking at Kentucky because I remember like back in the day they used to play like really run and gun, like really fast full court. And I talked a lot to Jeff Walls, and then I talked a little bit to Stanford and UCLA. But I think I wanted to always go to the East Coast. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How come?
I'm from Reno.
Yeah. I need to see the world.
I need to get out of these mountains.
What do they call Reno? Like the biggest, littlest city or something like that?
The biggest little city in the world.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to actually see the big cities.
Right.
The actual big cities. So you went to stores.
I know. So I chose stores.
So you chose stores. What about, what about Connecticut made you want to go there?
I wanted to win. I mean, Coach looked at me in my eye. I'm sure he said it to you too. Like, you can come here if you want to win a championship or go somewhere else and we'll beat you somewhere else. And I was like, oh.
He doesn't mince words, does he?
Right.
So you get there and like, so what was his impact? What was his impact, CD's impact, the coaching staff?
I still have like reminders in my head of like things that they have like put in place. Like, I think they've taught me the best kind of habits that I can have. They've taught me things about myself that like help me kind of get out of tough moments. I remember Coach would tell me, he's like, you're a mediocre player when you're not playing as hard as you can. He's like, when you're not like as energetic as you are, when you're not making these hustle plays, he was like, you're just like everyone else. But when you're not, he was like, you could be one of the best players in the world.
Were you immediately receptive to that? Or were you like, oh man, it's crazy?
He had this conversation with me like my senior year.
Okay.
And I was very receptive to it. And it's still something that I was like,
that you think about.
I was 100% today. And that's why I sucked. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like playing for national team, I was trying to bring a lot of those like UConn aspects to the team because France like really didn't have that.
Yeah. Like
just, you know, getting touches all the time. If you're on the sideline, you're talking. I would even get on the coaches. I'm like, coaches, you need to be talking. You need to be, you know, someone's like, I don't know, pouting on the bench, you're not clapping. No, you stand up when we, you know, trying to bring those kind of aspects. And I'm like, wow, I'm happy that like not everyone got to learn this. So I'm happy that I got to, you know.
Yeah. And you're literally shaping the culture of French basketball because of it. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. What else from your UConn experience? Like actually, if you were to describe your 4 years, like all in, like, or zoomed out, like how are you describing those 4 years?
Every year was like such a completely different story. It's hard. I mean, it was hard, especially my freshman year, but I would just say it was a grind. Like, honestly.
Fair.
It was just a grind. And I think I can appreciate what I did in college more now that I'm an adult, because I realized how much of a kid I was. And I'm like, wow, when you're a kid at UConn, you're asked to do a lot of things that kids aren't asked to do and be. And so now I'm like, you know what? I'm actually proud of myself. Of course, like, I was hard on myself when I was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, because that's all you kind of hear is like, you need to be better, you need to do this. And I was like, what's wrong with me? But now I'm like, no, you're 19, you're still learning life.
Yeah, I know. It's, I've had a couple UConn players. Obviously, I tell my own Coach Auriemma stories. And, sometimes I like to, jab and kind of give my little digs. But the truth is, those 4 years and what you're saying, right? The way that they challenge you, the way they prepare you, yes, it's going to impact you as a basketball player. It's going to probably impact, the points you put up or the assists you have or the rebounds. But more than anything, it's like shaping who you are.
Yeah.
And I think all of us owe a lot in whatever unique way it happened for you. All of us owe that school, that program, just so much on who we are as like people.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that you're taking like that character piece and you're bringing it and you've been able to instill it in a totally different place is pretty special. So it's always fun to like, because even though we didn't play together in college, obviously, it's so similar. It's just such a similar experience. In your college days, you went 148-3.
Yeah. 2 big ones though, but
yeah, 2 big ones. I know.
2 big ones.
I know. Those are the ones you remember. But you also played, in that time with some great players.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like obviously Brianna Stewart. The list goes on. Obviously that whole class, Morgan Tuck. And then you move on to Lou and Fee. The list goes on. What do you think you already listed kind of what you've taken from the coaches in the program. What do you think you took from playing with greatness?
That's a great question. I think I got a wake-up call of like, you're not that good actually. Like these girls are the standard,
Yeah.
And I needed that because I was like coming from, my like, big self from Reno.
I was almost an Olympian.
Like I won a 4A state championship, like I needed to get humbled, I think. And so being around that, I was like, oh man, I'm not good enough. I need to be on their level. And then what I liked was watching someone as good as that Brianna Stewart or Morgan Tuck like struggle and how they got through it. And I was like, okay, it's okay. Like even these guys who at that time I was just like, they could do no wrong, just looking up to other wide-eyed freshmen and then seeing how they like dealt with coach or how they got through practices. And Morgan Tuck was always in my ear. I don't know, she kept me in check for everything. And I always say she's one of the best teammates I've ever had. And she would just she wouldn't ever let me get into myself, So I think playing with them, it was really cool to see, these superstars like go through the same thing as me, but how they responded to it and got better from it.
Do you see that showing up even now or like even through your pro career?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Support for this show comes from DraftKings. The WNBA playoffs are here and the heat is on. Every game, every play, and every moment counts. Bet on your favorite teams and stars with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the WNBA. And for a limited time, all new DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BIRD. That's code BIRD for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All right, so you obviously finished a 2-time champion, NCAA champion, had a great career. I already said the record. You then go into the draft. It's 2018. You're drafted by the Chicago Sky, number 4. I think we had, this is the one thing I didn't do my research on.
You guys had 5th.
I think we had 5th, yeah. So there was a small part of me, I was like, oh my God. Like if she drops the 5th, I wonder if we ended up taking Jordan Canada and it worked out great.
Right.
Beyond more than great, to be honest. But yeah, we had 5th. So I had my eye on that draft the whole time. But you did. You got swooped up 4th. I feel like outside looking in, obviously I know you from playing with you and getting to know you as like a friend, but outside looking in, I could even see it just seemed like the Chicago years were kind of like you were trying to find your way.
Mhm.
You were trying to fit in. So at times, maybe even some of the tougher WNBA years for you.
Yeah.
But I want to hear that in your words if you can.
Yeah, well, I got there and they were like, okay, we're going to try to like move you to a 3 because I had been playing the 5. The freaking 5.
This is when doing a lot of things well just really ends up hurting you.
Yeah.
Like, can you play the 5? Can you play the 1? Can you play the 3?
Just
Can you
try
play
this.
The,
Yeah. So I remember doing training camp and I was doing all of my reps at the 3. But then they eventually moved to like the starting 4, which I had never really like, you know how UConn offense works. Like when you're the 5, you're still the passer. Like you're still the playmaker and everything. Like coach would always call me a point forward. But I didn't really get to do that as like a 4 in the W. It was more just like pick and pops. I had zero confidence in my shot at that point. A lot of pick and pops, a lot of like guarding Elena Deladons and Asia Wilsons and Candace Parkers.
Yeah,
like
hard. That's a welcome to the league moment.
Yeah. It worked in college, but I was, not playing against superstars.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect. But and then the next year, let's just go complete 180 and back up point guard.
I feel like I already know the answer to this. Did you like that?
Look, let's be positive.
Okay. Yeah.
I learned so much.
Good.
It was the way I can handle the ball now is thanks to that, of course. The way I'm able to I love using ball screens now and starting offense and everything, initiating. So there's things that came out of it.
Yeah.
Was it my least favorite year in the WNBA? 100%.
Okay. Hey, listen, it's a hard position. Yeah. I get it. But it actually does bring me to kind of this question of who were you as a basketball player in those years? How would you describe your game?
Oh, I was I don't know. You know when you see the duct tape that closes the leaks?
Yeah.
That's what I felt like.
Okay.
Okay, we need a 3. All right, Gab, go stitch it up. Okay, we need a 4. Go stitch that up. And I loved being that because I loved being a good teammate and a team player. But it was defeating because I was what do I do well? I was asking myself
who am
that.
I?
Yeah. Who am I? Will I always just kind of be this player that just kind of rebounds and defends in the league? Or I just said this in an interview recently that a lot of my ambitions just kind of dwindled away. And I was just kind of surviving. What's going to just keep me on this team? What's going to keep me on the floor? What's going to keep giving me minutes or keep me from getting cut? Just do that and then worry about the other stuff later.
So what changed? What got your ambitions back?
I came to Seattle.
No, it happened. I love that answer, but it happened before that.
It did. I think actually a big part of it was my year in Chopron, to be honest.
Yeah.
That year in Chopron was huge for me because they saw me. They're like, you know what? I think you're just a 2-3. Let's try to run you off some ball screens. And the way we played just worked so well for me. And then I was playing with great players too, smart players. And I just had such a great year in Europe that it led me to getting on national team, led me to the Olympics and everything. Because they still didn't really want me. Yeah. They didn't want me at all, even when Bria got hurt. The French national team.
Yeah.
And then I had that year and then they were like, okay, you can come. But it wasn't right away that they jumped on the idea of having me.
Right. So let's put some years on this. So Bria gets hurt in the wobble. So that's summer of 2020. And you go to Chopron now fall of 2020 into the spring of 2021. Okay. So even throughout that whole time, they're still a little but obviously we fast forward and you're a huge piece of the Olympic team when we're in Tokyo.
Yeah. And that wasn't right away either, which I understood because I had never done any kind of FIBA window with them. And so I got there and they were still kind of you can play, but we're still not going to give you the keys. And then after we lost Euros, the coach came, she was like, I'm giving you the keys for the Olympics. I'm giving you the responsibility. I'm giving you the keys. We need a medal.
Okay.
And then that's when I could feel that I had gained their trust.
Yeah. So if we take it to that Olympics, I do have a quick question. So I had Tina on recently.
Yeah. And
for her, that was a pivotal game in her Olympic experience that year because she hit those 3 threes.
I know.
The funny part is she didn't even know it until
she didn't know the score.
Yeah. She didn't know the score. She didn't know the implication, all of it. And we were talking about it first and foremost. We knew that there was some sort of score that you guys you couldn't lose by a certain number. I think it was 13 looking back, something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we really understood that. This is going to sound crazy. I don't think we really understood, like it wasn't really communicated enough where we were like, oh, if we win by 14, we knock them out.
Yeah.
Which is like, why wouldn't we be trying to knock them out?
Yeah.
So that's just like a whole other conversation. But yeah, so for Tina, that game was so pivotal because she has this big moment. But what was it like on your guys' side, knowing, you're facing the US, all the things, and you cannot lose by more than, I think it was 13. So like, what's happening for you guys in that moment?
Me, I love those situations. Like, I love when it's like, hey, you don't have a choice. Because that's what, I don't have to motivate myself. I'm already motivated. So I love those kind of big moments. And I was like so excited to play against the States for the first time, hadn't played in the W all summer. And I was like, look, this is me, guys. Like, you know.
This is the new me.
This is new me.
Yeah,
this is French me.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to play against the States. And I just always like playing against my friends. Like, I don't know. And I remember like taking the ball out at the end. And I think we were down by 11 and like we couldn't lose again. We just had to get the ball in. I just couldn't turn it over and you guys get a wide open layup. And I look at Stewie, I was like, hey, just let me get the ball in.
Do me a solid.
Because then I'm like, why is she guarding me like on the sideline? And she was like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't think she was going to try to deflect it, but.
I think, like I said, we had it wasn't miscommunication. It was just like not a full understanding of what was at play in that game. Like we knew if we lost, we advanced. We knew if we won, we advanced. We were like kind of, obviously we want to win, but the score part, we were a little. It was after the fact where it's like, oh, if you guys had beaten them by X, you would have knocked them out. And we were like, are you fucking serious?
Well, thanks to whoever didn't communicate that very much. We appreciate it.
But real fast, you get to so you advance and you get to, I guess, like the semifinals. And you're in the knockarounds, you're going against Japan again. First, you lose to Japan in the pool play, which is actually what set up this whole pool play situation we're talking about. And now you're playing them again. Can you just talk about, I would argue that Japanese team was one of the most difficult teams and styles I've ever played against. And to this day, it's the only thing I'm thankful for when it comes to not having fans. I'm thankful for COVID for one reason, and it's that the Japanese didn't have a home crowd.
Yeah.
Because every three they hit already felt like,
so
I don't
loud,
know,
right?
so loud. I can only imagine if there was fans there. But just talk about playing against that Japanese team. They were so good.
They were so good. They were so well coached. And like every action they ran was like so defeating as an opponent. Because it would be like,
so true.
Ball screen, drive, spray, reversal, boom, three.
I know. And don't give up threes, guys. Don't let them shoot threes, guys. And then you're like, what? Three?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's all they do. That's all they do. And you still can't guard it.
No.
And it was so frustrating because we had only lost by like 4 the first time. So we were like, oh, we got them now. We figured it out. Not at all.
They were so hard to play against. We ended up having to just literally switch every screen.
Yeah.
So you had BG guarding like a 5'2" point guard, like literally half the game. It was so hard. But yeah, I just want to talk about that because again, you met them in the semis and lost again. And so I'm curious, like, how are you feeling in the locker room? So the end of the story is that you medal and you have a bronze medal. Are you like, how do I want to say this?
I cried.
You cried. Okay. So here's the question. How did you feel about that?
I remember I went to get treatment and I just felt like, I don't know, the trainer's working on me and then I just felt a tear. Like I just felt a tear go and I was like
you had a chance.
Because I would have guaranteed a medal, but also the context of we just lost to Serbia.
Yeah, in the Euros.
In Euros, we got to play Serbia again, who France lost to in Rio for a medal. And it just felt like everything was the perfect story for us, like not to medal, you know. My legs were done.
Yeah.
Like I'd never done a FIBA tournament, so I had no idea what it was like physically. So that was my awakening to it. And I was like, oh my gosh.
It's different. How would you describe FIBA in comparison to the WNBA?
I think FIBA is a lot more physical, obviously, because it's called the whistle is less obvious. Like
and unpredictable.
It's unpredictable. Yeah. So it is a lot more physical. I would say the pace of the W is obviously really faster, but I think the physicality of FIBA games actually like makes me more tired. Like I feel
there's
heavier.
no TV timeouts.
No TV timeouts.
So that's like a big,
yeah.
You're not getting those breaks like how or whatever every like 4 or 5 minutes. So that's a big part of it.
And the games are so fast.
Yeah.
They're like an hour and a half long. We're like WNBA games are like 3 hours. So you feel like it's an hour and a half of just like a sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, what I would add to that, specific to like national team play, so like whether it's Euros, for me, like World Cup, Olympics, is the tournaments are kind of short. And I feel like every country, rightfully so, us included, it's like you're playing for your life.
Yep.
So yes, there's no TV timeouts. So the games are shorter. They're a little more physical because of the way they're called. But everybody's playing so much harder than they would in like a quote unquote regular season. Because first of all, there's so much importance on the games. And also you've been training for this one moment. So like you're at the Olympics, you only get, I mean, first of all, you're only guaranteed technically like 3, however many pool play games.
Yeah.
So people are playing so hard. There's never a possession off.
That
and
is so
it
true.
makes it, I agree with you. I'm the most tired I've ever been has been in national team play.
Yeah.
Like by far. Everybody's pressing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 40 minutes of pressing and then you're probably pressing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're getting pressed and you're pressing. So it's so competitive and so difficult. All right. So when I look at you, I definitely think like in terms of your growth, a lot of it did happen from playing overseas. Like I feel like when you go there, you already mentioned playing in Chopron for those couple of years and it allowed you to like find yourself and like be who you are. And then you run into the situation where you get suspended in 2021. And another thing, as I was prepping for this, I started to realize like not everybody understands what happened. Just to you specifically, but just like prioritization in that year. So can you explain what happened and why the Chicago Sky, or maybe not why, but like how they were able to suspend you?
So they basically told me like, don't come to training camp. Like don't come. We had thought that we had come to an agreement that I wasn't going to come. And if I was going to come, like they would trade me or worst case, I would just finish the season with them after the Olympics, worst case. Because they were able to keep me for very cheap because it was my option year. So from a business standpoint, like, they did their thing. They did their Dougie with that one. Like they kept a player for a year longer, like with the $60,000 contract. But they told me to like not come to Chicago. And then I remember my first day I land in Reno after flying with my cat from Hungary. And I get a call at like 6 a.m. from Lindsay, like, get on a plane, go to Chicago.
Yeah.
Get on a plane, go to Chicago right now because they're going to suspend you for not being at training camp. And I was like, what? Like, they just told me not to go. And then I call the Dobo at the time. I call Ann and I was like, Ann, like, I need a flight to come to Chicago. And she was like, what? James said you're not coming till after the Olympics. Like, James said that you weren't. And then I go on Twitter and I see like I've been suspended for not going to training camp because the prioritization rule said that if you missed like the first 5 days, they could suspend you, no questions.
And so all you had to do in order to come back after the Olympics was just report.
Yeah.
So you could have reported, you would have been in the rules, they couldn't suspend you, and they would have to honor your contract. But instead, the Dougie happens.
Yeah.
And you're suspended, which did have implications on your contract because you had to stay under that one more year, right?
Yeah, well, we got lucky. They realized the media frenzy that they had kind of created and traded me to LA. And so I got the extension.
Right.
So I didn't have to stay on that contract.
So it did work out in the end because you got traded and everything worked out. Obviously that trade like subsequently like lands you in Seattle. And we'll kind of like get to that in a second. So kind of like looking back, I can imagine it was hard in the moment, but then at the same time, would you change how it happened?
No, absolutely not. Like I have no bitterness. Like I talk about the situation, but it doesn't mean that I have any type of feeling about it. Like I'm so happy it happened the way it did. When people show me the true colors, I needed also to learn how the business was ran. Because I think I was always like, this is my family. Like I eat lunch with, James's wife was French. Like we were hanging out in Montpellier all the time. And I was like, these people are not your friends, Gabby. They're not your family. Like it forced me to change the way I think about these things and make better decisions for myself versus like sacrificing my well-being and everything, which I was doing before to just be anything for the team. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be selfish. Like I'm gonna make decisions for me now.
Did it frustrate you though that you didn't have a chance to take this like new identity as a basketball player that you just had gained in Chopron and play in the WNBA with it? That got like, I mean, obviously you come the next year, so it's not like it got delayed that long, but it did get delayed for a season.
It did, but I think I was already like discouraged by the WNBA by that point after like my first 3 years. So I was just like, I do not care. Like I was just so sick of the W at that point that I was like, it felt like the national team like circuit that summer, because we did 2 competitions, were so freaking fun for me that I wasn't even thinking about it. Like I met all these new friends. Like I loved playing with them. We got 2 medals that summer and I was just having a good time. I was playing the way I wanted to play. So I honestly didn't have that feeling.
Do you want to hear the funny part? My next question in my notes is, ask how she was feeling about the WNBA versus overseas. That answers that.
Yep.
Okay, but that does actually bring me, so you've obviously described kind of your overall feeling of it. Your role, right? Like your role in the WNBA versus overseas. And by overseas, I'm kind of, that's including like EuroLeague and your national team, right?
Yeah.
So your role, WNBA compared to overseas, the money being offered, WNBA compared to that. You obviously were making a name for yourself. You win EuroLeague in 2020 with Chopron. So I have a question, because you've been really vocal, and for those that don't know, you've been really vocal just about like the pay equity conversation of the WNBA and prioritization, basically making you choose. And I've heard you say time and time again, like, okay, you want me to choose? Cool, but you got to pay me for that choice, essentially.
Yeah.
It's a 2-parter.
Okay.
First part, as this new CBA approaches, which everyone's saying will bring in a ton of money given the media deal, like how do you see it changing for you, the decision-making process? We don't know. Obviously, it's going to be a new CBA. So will there be prioritization? Will there not? There's no way to know until it's done. But like, how do you see if the money increases in the WNBA and it's higher than overseas? How do you see that playing out for you?
Well, I just see it being more like the men's side.
Okay.
You know, how some guys choose NBA and EuroLeague, and some people, like, there's still big contracts in EuroLeague. No, they're not NBA contracts, but I see it just being more so like the men, where that you fortunately only will have to play 1 season, which I think is ultimately the goal. The goal is just for us not to have to do WNBA and overseas, or for European players to, like, you know, everyone can just maybe do 1, make their money and be happy and not be exhausted, have their vacation time, have an off season. So I just see that being like the thing that comes out of it.
Okay. And then what about, obviously it's a little bit different from you, given that you are American. I mean, I know you're French now, but given that you are American, do you think other European players who maybe like home and like where they live is Europe, how do you think it changes for them? Like similarly?
Well, I think they're going to chase the money too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and I also think everyone wants to be a part of what's happening in the W right now.
Yeah.
Even overseas, like you see so many French kids that want to play in the WNBA right now.
Yeah. You guys are kind of taking over.
It's kind of cool, right?
It is pretty cool. I have to admit, like, it's a little scary given, you know, the Olympics of it all. But you guys, I'm just like, when did you all get so tall?
Right.
Why are you guys giants? But also that you can see the skill level has really increased. So it is really fun to see like this injection of French players. But continue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see them wanting to be in the W too, because I also think that their development, they've actually always really been good, like French young kids.
Yeah.
But they all kind of like reach, I hope I'm not saying anything too controversial that people get mad at me for, but they all kind of reach a cap.
Okay.
That I think that they need to come to the States to kind of
to keep going.
You know, like I see all these young talented kids and they kind of peak a little bit. So I'm happy to see that they're like, I'm happy to see Layla and Carla and all these young guys, and Dom, of course, that are coming, and they're learning a lot of stuff. They're learning how to play against the Brianna Stewart early. Yeah. They're not learning their first time in the Olympics, you know? And I think that's what's going to take it to the next step.
Okay, that actually answers my question, because it was a 3-parter. Because the third part is, it's almost been like the opposite for you, which is you got to go overseas and have a bigger role and kind of expand your game in that way. But I hear what you're saying. It's like they already kind of get that part, and now they need to experience like the US version, I guess, of basketball.
I think it's just more so about like the competition they're playing against.
Okay.
Like they need to play against like the superstars. They need to see what that's like.
So it's not like a developmental thing. It's just like actual like real life competition.
That's what it is, because their development is great, and like they have all the resources we do, and they have INSEP, you know, the school.
The
school.
I was like, for Australia, it's the Institute.
Right.
For you guys, it's INSEP.
It's
I
like
guess
the
for us,
IMG.
it's like, it'd be like IMG.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually like college in a sense. It's just you're younger.
Right. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Like they have that and everything. So development is great, but I think that they don't know how to go against someone who's like talking shit to you the whole time. They don't know what it's like to go against someone with these kind of like, the pep that Americans have that gives them that kind of extra like oomph. Like that's what's missing.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. All right. I see that. Okay. So all said and done, you do eventually get to Seattle.
Yeah.
What was like your first impressions just of like the organization, the city, all of it?
Again, I had came from, we didn't have a locker in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I remember, I know we were at SPU in Seattle. So you guys were like, oh, sorry, we'll have a facility. I'm like, what? I have my own locker? I have a cold tub? I don't have to put ice in a trash can. And I was blown away by everything.
Because we did have Climate Pledge.
And we did have Climate
Climate Pledge
Pledge
had just opened.
And that was so cool. And it was also years and Breeze, goodbye years. So every single game was sold out.
Yeah.
Which I didn't.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is freaking cool. And now it's just getting better and better every year.
Yeah, it is. I have to say, we're in the practice facility right now doing this interview. And it is, even for me, am I a little sad I didn't get to use it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But walking up, I'm like, this is so dope.
Yeah.
It really is. It's you really don't have to grind in the same way. So that's nice. You bring up the 2022 season, the season we got to play together, which is great. Do you remember when you got concussed in the playoffs? The season itself was actually had a little bit of ups and downs. We were figuring some stuff out. But by the time we got to playoffs, we were in a good place. Yeah, we were in a really good place. And then we played the Mystics. And it was a concussion. Well, actually, wait, 3-game series. We win game 1. And do you remember, I'm going to ask you if you remember this one. I've actually told this story. We're in the locker room and it's ahead of game 2. Okay. If we lose game 2, we're leaving the next morning to go to DC for game 3. And we're in the locker room and a bunch of us got the Delta app notification to check in.
Yes.
And we're all like, we're not fucking losing. Nobody check in. Nobody check in. It's the motivator for the game. Oh my God.
I forgot about that.
Honestly, one of my favorite stories. Everyone's reaction.
No face.
Yeah. It was so funny. But you get bopped.
It was the weakest thing ever too. And I remember being in the showers after and you're like, you good? I was like, a couple days.
And I was like, you don't look good. You look a little dazed.
Right. But I'd never had a concussion before. So I was like, and it didn't feel they told me I was concussed. I did all the testing. I was nauseous, all that stuff. I was clearly concussed, but I didn't know that it was a couple week thing. Cause I was walking and talking and felt fine. And I was just I think just a couple of days. And then I got home.
You were in the protocol, man.
And I was not okay.
Oh, really? What happened when you got home?
Oh, I mean, I was just not okay. I was knocked, sensitive to everything, nauseous, just headache. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt like I was really, we were getting going.
We were getting there. I know. It makes me sad too. But you did come back, which was fun also. I mean, listen, we lost the series. It sucks. I hate talking about that last year. But at the same time, there's so many great memories. I think for you, I just saw so much growth in this 1 year, And honestly, one of the things that jumps out, and I was going to get into it a little bit later, just about your defense, is we played against Chicago kind of early in the season-ish. And it was a close game. Don't quote me on the time and score, but it's late in the game. I think we're trying to hold on to a 1-point lead kind of a thing. And I turned the ball over and Sloop got it. And she had a wide open layup. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Gabby comes, you run by Bambi. I'm sure you'll get. Gabby comes Bambiing down and just blocks it off the backboard. And then I think blocked the next one or got the rebound, whatever it was. And I was like, whoa, I'd never seen, I'm not joking. I'd never seen anything like that. And I think that is what makes you special as a defender. But I do want to hear your thoughts on you as a defender. What makes you special?
I mean, a lot of it is I am athletic. It is my body. It is the way I'm able to move myself. But I really study. I really try to focus on scout. I really try to predict what's going to happen next. Listen, not always right. And a lot of time it's gambling. A lot of time I'm hearing Noe about it. But that is part of my game is I'm taking a lot of risks on defense too. That was a big risk to go try to get that chase down block, that could have ended
totally different.
Really,
totally
completely different.
Save my ass. Thank you.
But there is a lot of risk taking, I think, in the way I play defense. But it's also, I tried to be methodical with it. But yeah, a lot of it is coach in my head telling me that if I'm not going as hard as I can, that I'm average too, honestly.
Yeah. I just want to add to that. So yes, you're leading the league in steals. You're also like incredibly versatile. We've already talked about offensively being able to play all the positions. Defense, you can guard everybody. But really what I would add to the mix is like what makes you different, makes you special is kind of what I just said. You cover up other people's mistakes. And I don't even think people see it. I don't think people truly understand. A chase down block is obviously, people are going to see that, but it comes in these other subtle ways. And that's always like when you're playing. So like we played together that last year. When we're playing together, like I know like, oh, if I mess up, like Gabby's there. And that allows like the team defense to then raise. So not only are you good individually, you're actually raising the level of your team's play. So I would just take that on as well, because that's a big part of what you're doing. So 2003 now comes 2023.
I was like, yeah,
I know.
yeah.
You're like, I was 5. Okay. So 2023, you only play in, I don't even know, not that many games because of the Euros. So do you want to just skip that one?
That was insane. I get concussed again.
Oh, that's right.
I get concussed again.
Is that scary at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
I was petrified.
Okay.
Especially because the way I tried it, that time they were like, yeah, go ahead. Just, French medicine. They're like, just after 7 days, they're like, just give it a go. It's finals. I go and after the game, I'm like super sick. The trainer's in my bedroom, like trying to get me right and stuff. And I was like, don't put me on that court again. And
yeah, it is scary.
I took a long time to come back because I went and saw like a specialist because it's your brain.
Yeah.
So I was pretty panicked about that. But yeah, I come back and then 10
but
games
later.
later.
But it's also kind of like what allowed you to come back, right?
Yeah.
Because you ended up, again, we're back in the prioritization of it all, which for those that don't know, like that rule, that CBA rule changed at one point, like year to year. Like as you mentioned with Chicago in 2021, it was like you had to get there by, X amount of days with training camp. Now it's getting to a point where your overseas contract has to be done.
Yeah.
So because you got concussed, you actually got out of that contract, right? And then it made you eligible?
Well, yeah, like Lindsay called me that night that I was sick. And she was like, why are you playing? It's been like a week since, you got diagnosed with concussion. And I was like, well, it's finals. I wanted to try. And then she was like, you're not playing another basketball game. I was like, I'm really scared. Like, I'm panicking. And she was like, let's just end your contract. You're not playing another game. We'll figure out the Seattle stuff later. Because I told Seattle, too, I was like, don't expect me to be there. Like, I need to get my brain right.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it was you now like were free to join late. Basically.
Yeah.
Because you're overseas. Even though you weren't under contract here, your overseas had ended. That's another rule, which actually does bring us to the 2024 season, the Olympic year. So for those that don't understand, again, the prioritization is so confusing, but because you were not under contract, you could go train with France, go to the Olympics, play the Olympics, and then sign a contract essentially to join Seattle by the end. Okay, we're not skipping the Olympics, don't worry. It's a home Olympics for you.
Yeah.
So just like, what is that like?
Oh man, that was like, I felt like I was in a weird reality. Like every day I was like, there's no way that meme of like LeBron James, he's like, can't believe this is my life. I couldn't believe it. Like I had my family from Paris coming and then I had my family from the States and they were like all meeting each other for their first time. They're all living in this big house. And I was like, my family was having the time of their lives, which is the coolest, honestly, the best part for me. My niece was like courtside every game and now she wants to play basketball all of a sudden. And that was cool because we didn't have family in Tokyo.
Yeah. It is a different experience being able to share it for sure.
So not only did I have not like my family, I had my family there, but like I had everyone there. Like I am home. So, that was so cool. And then just like the love from the fans was just insane. Like it was the best experience ever. The fans were like, I don't know, that's got to go down in history as like the best public or whatever.
Yeah, it was I obviously went as just like a spectator. And it is different if you're a player versus spectator, of course. But you still get to experience stuff as a player outside of Tokyo. I still got to experience. And being in Paris, from just the fanfare to your point, the venues, the city itself, how they were able to incorporate.
Yeah.
Like you go to beach volleyball, you're looking at the Eiffel Tower, I think when it's all said and done, I'm excited to see what they do in LA, of course, but when it's all said and done as of right now, like the Paris Olympics is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my experience, in the ones that I've seen, it might be the best.
I think that's why a lot of NBA guys wanted to do it too. Like that was one
Paris.
everyone wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what were your team's goals going in? I know gold medal, so I'm not trying to, but like how are you talking about that? How are you on the lead up? How are you talking about that in the locker room? Like, what is that like?
It was in 2023, our coach makes PowerPoint and says, gold medal. He said, this is the standard gold medal, which I liked because that's not very French, honestly. And I was like, and he was new. So I was like, okay, this guy's got some ambition. All right.
Yeah.
But what I had to kind of rein everyone in on was like, let's not skip the steps. There was a lot of like, yeah, we want gold, we want gold, we want gold. But I was trying to get everyone like, but how? Like, what is gold? I was like, we need to have gold medal practices. We need to have gold medal film sessions. And that was a big reason too why I was trying to bring like the quote unquote UConn culture to them too. Because I was trying to get them to realize like in those games, it's not going to be about like, well, we want to win the gold medal. It's going to be about the habits that you've created to get there. And you can see in those last 3-4 minutes, like we didn't have those habits.
Gold medal game?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah. What can you like take me through that? Just like what you mean when you say that? Like, is it a discipline? Is it understanding? Like, what do you think that was?
I think it's almost like a serenity, actually. And it's the same thing that you guys had against us when we played you in Tokyo. And I think we were even up at halftime or tied or something. But when the moment got hot, there was a coolness to you. There was a coolness to Tina hitting those threes, not even knowing the score.
Yeah, like there's a calm.
There was a coolness to like Diana freaking picking my pocket, like, in the final seconds, getting it off my knee, like us like not panicking or being tight on offense. Like those are the things that the States have that we just don't have the experience for yet. And I think that showed up in the last 3-4 minutes.
Is it something you think about a lot?
All the time. I don't even think about the shot. Everyone asked me about the shot.
Yeah, the toe on the line, yeah.
And I'm like, did you see, we called a timeout after we scored? Mm-hmm. Like, did you see that on the possession before that, like we had nobody in the low help defense? Did you see like the shots that we took at the end? Did you see the plays that we called? Like, not saying the coach, but I'm saying like the players on the court.
No.
Like
a lot of people like to focus on the final play or the final shot, whether it went in or it did. In this case, your toe was on the line. Therefore, you didn't tie it.
Right.
We still were able to win by 1. That's like the scenario. But I totally hear what you're saying. It's never that moment.
Right.
It's like 3, 4, 5, 6 plays before that.
That moment should have never happened.
Right.
Like that's what I think about. But no, but just the way we were as players, like, yeah, we got hot, we got cool in the third quarter, but then it was like, oh my gosh, are we actually going to win this game? And that's when you could see the kind of tightness come. And that's where we need to be playing in the States, I think, a bit more to like learn how to be cool in those big moments.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it goes without saying. I can already hear it. It kind of added like a chip. It probably was already a chipped out shoulder. Now you got another one on there.
Chipped out shoulder.
But the thing I noticed, I could definitely dissect the game. That'd be actually fun to do. But the thing I noticed was like you were in excellent shape. Like you were, the minute I saw you, the first time I saw you like in Paris, I was like, damn, like you just looked in great, first of all, you were tan. So that was like, that was on point, but you just looked in great shape. Did you change anything from like a prep standpoint?
100%.
Okay.
So I had like a family emergency in March, and it actually let me be home for like 3 months where I just got to work on my body, which I hadn't had since I was a rookie. I got to just work on my body. I had just gotten with my like individual trainer. I was just doing like pickup games and everything. And then we got to France and we had like a UConn level kind of preseason, just like sprints, walking up mountains, like doing all this crazy stuff.
Rocky vibes.
Yes. Definitely Rocky montage happened in Anglet, France. But that was one of our goals, was like we need to be fit and in better shape than everyone. Like that was a big emphasis from the federation and from our coach, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. No, you could tell right away. Yeah. The style you guys play too. You're definitely just one of the more like physical teams. You do press 40 minutes. So I could totally see how that would be the focus. Okay. So we've now kind of talked about like your national team play, some of the choices. I love that you really wouldn't change anything. It's kind of all gotten you to where you are now. But a lot of your decisions have been dictated by like the CBA and by prioritization. So I'm just curious, like moving forward, looking ahead, because European Championship's not going anywhere. Olympics and World Cup aren't going anywhere. And I don't expect you to like solve the world's problems here, but is it something you think about on just like, is there a different way they could handle, the WNBA could handle European players?
I think it's the WNBA, but it's also FIBA.
Okay.
Like, I think FIBA has to find a way to make it work because, like, so much is changing so fast. And I always, like, okay, the WNBA will make anything work as long as USA's, like, doing
in it,
you know? Yeah. So,
right,
but
take a break.
Yeah.
Like, they'll take a break, right?
They'll end the season shorter for, like, World Cup. But this year, or next year, it's actually going to maybe coincide with the World Cup. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do when it starts to affect Team USA.
Same.
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested in. So, yeah, go ahead and get a piece of your own medicine, Team USA, see what it's like.
Hey, leave us alone. No, I'm joking. Yeah, because it's just always going to be, we saw it this season, a bunch of different European players left their WNBA teams, came back halfway through the season. So it's just always there. So it's like the problem that, how do you solve it? It's like almost impossible.
It might just be how USA does it with Pan Am games, and they might just start sending young kids, like on the European side, maybe.
We just did that with AmeriCup too.
Right.
Yeah, we sent young kids.
Not Pan Am. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Honestly, if it was the Pan Am, we'd be sending young kids.
Right, but that too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that brings us to like present day. You are having career highs this year, like pretty much across the board. It's like points, minutes, 3-point percentage, assists, steals. Lead the league, like I said, blocks, even field goal attempts and makes. What is clicking? Like, what is going on?
Noe's just kind of letting me be me, man. Like, I feel like her and I have kind of grown up together like these last 4 years. And I think obviously there's a lot more shots to be taken now that we've kind of like had this rebuild kind of thing. So she's put a lot of pressure on me to take up a lot of those offensive responsibilities. And like I said earlier, like I'm always my best when I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like
I know. So that actually is a great segue. I asked you earlier, I think it was around like those early WNBA years, like how would you have described yourself, right? You hit me with the duct tape, which I loved. And so now, like in comparison to that, when you look at yourself now, how do you describe your game?
I mean, we've said it a lot with like the French Army knife comparison, but I want to be someone that makes my teammates better. Like the fact to hear you say that I would cover up a lot of mistakes for you on defense, like those are the things I love to hear. Like I want to hear that like, yeah, they are confident in me when it's like crunch time, or that they know I'm going to make the right decision and that it elevates everyone's game. Like that's what I want to be now. Like I want to make everybody better.
Okay. And where do you think like specifically, just like within the flow of a game, like where are you most effective? Like how are you being, well, by the way, we haven't actually paused your jump shot. The evolution of that. I feel like we have to talk about that first, because you've really, I mean, year to year you could see it, but I feel like this year you've really just gotten a lot more confidence. We always saw it, to be honest, when you play with the French team. You could see it when you play in EuroLeague, but now it's here in the WNBA. So did something click with that? Is it like a form thing or is it just a confidence thing?
Confidence.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a confidence thing for sure. And it's also knowing that like, I got to take them. Like I said, I don't have a choice. Like it keeps coming back to this, but it is true. It's just like, I got to take them. And I'm not about to miss. Like, that's not what's going through your head. If I got to take them, like I got to take them, or I have to be the one to miss sometimes. And there's also like a freedom in playing and knowing that like my game doesn't rely on that.
Yeah.
Which I think before the shots felt so heavy before, because I was like, maybe this is
It was going to prove something.
Yeah. It was
Like,
going to prove something,
your value.
prove my value, or like, this is what the team needs if I don't do it. And then I'm shooting like this, like, you know, honestly. But now it's just like, you know what? And this is what Noe is, and the whole staff is saying to me. They're like, you know what? If it goes in, great, but that's not what we're relying on, and that's not what you should be relying on. It's just an extra aspect of your game, but it's not your whole game. And I think that's kind of taken like the pressure off my shoulders of just like, shoot it. Make every shot fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it help playing alongside players like Nneka and Sky?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What's your guys' well, first of all, what does 3-4-5 ABC mean?
Well, oddly enough, we just realized like a couple weeks ago that our numbers are 3-4-5.
Oh, your numbers are 3-4-5.
Yeah. Oh, see, you didn't realize either.
I was like, why isn't it 1-2-3 ABC? Why did you skip the first two?
Well, maybe we should be like CDE, or I don't know. Are those the 3, 4, 5, third, fourth, and whatever?
Don't ask
Let's
me.
stop.
Okay.
Let's go back to school.
All right. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So talk about playing with them.
Yeah, man. It's just been so fun. Like, honestly, just so fun. And just their experience, Sky's competitiveness, like their edge to everything has just been like such a great addition. But also, just like their want to be here too. And their want to be with us. And they've just been like,
yeah, it matters.
It matters a lot. And they've been just amazing teammates to me and have just lifted me up and made me feel like the best people ever, the best player ever. I'm like, Nneka Ogwumike and Skylar Diggins feel this way about me? Like, what? Of course, yeah, I'm shooting this shit. Like, honestly.
Yeah, no, I get that. They give you confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But everyone, I mean, since I've been to Seattle, like playing with you, playing with Stewie, it's been only that since I got to Seattle.
Yeah, you've obviously publicly talked about just like how you feel about this organization. Just like this organization has given you like a comfort zone and like a place to be your best. So how do you feel about the city of Seattle and the fans?
Oh, I was just talking to this about Steph Dolson. I was just like, because the fans love her. Like our fans are just like, they just love everyone.
They
do.
It's a love fest for sure.
It's just a big love fest here. And but what I love is the fans love us through everything. Like they loved us through that 2023 season. They love us during the bad games too. And that's not something that you have everywhere. Especially like I play in Europe, so I know very well how quickly fans can turn.
You played in Fenerbahce too.
Right. But they just like love you through everything. And even like in the crowd, it'll be I'll have a terrible game. They'll, you got it, Gab. Where anywhere else I'd be like, get it together, 5. Like, what's wrong with you? But no, man, they're just awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's actually so, I'm going to say it, poetic that you said that because if I was sitting in your seat right now, and I was, well, how old are you?
I'm 28.
28, yeah, baby. If I was sitting in your seat right now as a 28-year-old, back in 2008, and somebody asked me the same question, my answer would be exactly the same. Because one of my favorite memories was early in my Storm days, we had like a really talented team. We had already won a championship in like 2004. I think it was the next year. So I think we're like trying to repeat. And we faced the Houston Comets. And back then you went on the road for a game. And then you had 2 home games if you were the higher seeded team. So we went to Houston and lost the first game. And now we're coming back home. And game 2, like, they just fucking killed us.
Yeah.
It was like from the jump. It was just one of those games. We could no matter what we did. I don't know what the final score was, but I know for a fact, like very quickly, the game was over. The fans stayed the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And even as like the clock was dwindling, the season's ending, we're not going to repeat. They gave us a standing ovation when the clock did hit 0. And that is Seattle. Like that's the fan base. That's what they mean. So it's really interesting, like 2 different experiences saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I love that. But you are an all-star.
Yeah.
It is your first time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me about the call.
What did you saw?
Oh my God.
Viral?
Wait, yeah. I literally just interviewed Sonia too.
Oh, you did?
Yes. So, all right. No, actually,
you
this
want me
is
to talk
great.
about it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She talked about it. So let's hear it. Give me your perspective or your experience.
Yeah. So my experience, I don't know how the shit works. Like, I don't know how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
I know that ain't it. But I'm asleep. We're playing Atlanta. I'm taking my like pregame nap. I wake up. I have 2 missed calls from an unknown number. And I open I think the first one was me. The first one was like, hey, Gabby, it's Kathy.
Okay.
Congrats.
So you did get a call.
I did
that was
get a
for
call.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did get a call. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, same number called me. Hey, Sonia, it's Kathy. Same cadence, everything. And I go, is there a mess up here? Is this true? Am I like, I still wasn't sure. And I was like on the phone with Maureen. And she was like, are you an all-star? I was like, I'm not sure, actually. I don't know if it's a mess up or whatever. And then I get to the bus and T had a big smile. And Tixar GM had a big smile. And like, yeah, everyone gave me a big hug and people were cheering on the bus. So I was like, oh, okay, it's true. Like it is true.
It's real.
And then after I was like, I told everyone on the bus, I was like, she called me thinking it was Sonia. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I was like, did Sonia get a call? I don't know. Do I have to tell her now? I don't know.
Yeah, you have to be the commissioner.
Right.
Commissioner for a day.
So then I DM'd her thinking like, okay, worst case, like she finds out and it's good, or we just laugh about it.
Yeah.
She didn't know, which made me feel awful.
No.
But, yeah.
Why? She never would have gotten a call. Or maybe that's not actually true. Her GM or somebody in the front office would have told her, but she would have been.
Well, when I saw her interview with Lisa Leslie that she did, and she said that she was thinking about it like the whole game.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
Sorry, but.
Yeah, I don't know what else you do. I guess you tell Talisa to call the Mystics.
Yeah.
I would never think it. I think it makes for, I actually saw that interview also, and she also added, like, it does make for a good story.
Yeah.
It's like your first time. You two are never going to forget that experience of making your first All-Star game.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. But all jokes aside, like, what did it mean?
It meant that I was right. Like, I was right to be here. I made the right decisions. Like, everything was supposed to go that way. Like, that's what it felt like. Like, when I say I wouldn't change anything, that's one of those things that, like, you're in the right place, you're doing the right thing, keep going. Like, because there are a lot of doubts when you're making these big decisions, when I'm making these big sacrifices, you know. And I was like, it was all worth it. Because I wanted to get my All-Star this way with this team, too.
All right. You've already kind of talked about you've had to make these big decisions at different points. So when you look back on it all, and you look back on those moments, pivotal decisions, really, which one, if you could pick one, like which one do you think had the biggest impact?
Choosing to play for a national team.
Yeah.
You could say like going to play for Chopron, but I would say national team more than anything because that gave me such a different look on basketball in general.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're not playing for money when you play for French national team. And it really like rewired my brain in the way I think about like what kind of legacy I want to leave, what kind of player I want to be. Yeah, I would say French national team has had the biggest impact on my life. And now most of my life is in France now. Like I'm not even, I speak more French than English now. Like
yeah, I know. I remember. Because I know you know this story, but I remember early in 2022, like early in the season, I come in the locker room, you're doing full on voice notes in French. I was like, oh, you're not even American anymore.
Right.
I was like, you've turned the corner. This is it. Full on voice notes. I was like, oh my God. Okay. Before I let you go, all said and done, you look back on it. What does success look like for you in this season, individually, and then for the Storm?
Oof. I think we have a lot of like great pieces this year. So I want to just like, and I still think I'm not playing that well. If that sounds crazy, like I still feel like I can be playing better.
It's good to have that hunger.
Yeah. I still feel like I can be playing better. Even we were talking with Elijah, our new like personal development guy. He's just like, I'm still waiting for like a big game to happen. I'm like, I am too. Like I know I'm playing well, but it still feels like there can be more, and that's a good feeling to have. I still think we can keep getting better, but I just see a really good future. Honestly, individually, I just want to keep enjoying being where I'm at. Most importantly, that's also one thing that the whole Chicago situation helped me learn was like, just go somewhere where you go to work and you smile every day and like you feel good. So I'm just going to keep staying in that pocket and continuing in that because you're happy, you play better, life is better. Everything's just better when you're in a good environment.
Very true. All right, Gabby. Merci.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
All right, everybody, that was Gabby. What a great conversation. Super fun to learn about her journey and how it's been about choosing herself, whether that meant finding her own pace, committing to the French national team, choosing to stay in Seattle. The path hasn't always been easy, but looking back, she has zero regrets, and that is a wonderful place to be. And with everything she's accomplished so far, it's clear she's only scratching the surface. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This episode is a co-production of Together and Vox Media. Our producers are Tommy Alter, Jason Gallagher, Richie Bozick, Harry Krinsky, Jess Clarendon, and Melanie Carter.